Staying social primarily means two things. Number one, having good relationships in your life. These are relationships with people whom you can count on when the going gets tough. People who you can trust to take you to the doctor if you're sick, or who can just sit with you if you're feeling down. It's a biological imperative to know we belong to at least 3 stable relationships. That's what the research tells us we need here. Number 2, having daily social interaction. This means how much you interact with people as you go through your day. This includes not just the people you're really close to, but also everyone else you talk to throughout the day. You know, the person who made your coffee this morning, the postman, your neighbours. All of these different interactions are an important part of staying social. So why is having daily social interactions so important or even relevant? Well, there are many things in which we should be doing if we want to live healthier and happier lives. But the one which is the greatest predictor of health and longevity is, would you believe it, staying social. How? Well, for starters, it's good for your body. That's because research shows that loneliness shortens your life as much as being a regular smoker or alcoholic. If you're a woman with breast cancer, then you're 4 times more likely to survive if you are not a loner. And did you know that the level of satisfaction you have with your relationships is a better predictor of physical health than your cholesterol level? Crazy, isn't it? You're also much more likely to suffer from a heart attack because loneliness weakens the left ventricle of your heart. Yes, you really can die of a broken heart. Staying social is not only restorative for your heart, but also bolsters your entire immune system and will literally help to save your life. In fact, women are often much better at staying social than men. And this is a contributing factor to why women in the developed world live an average of 6 to 8 years longer than men do, with the quality of those years much higher too. It's also good for your mind. So good relationships don't just protect your body, they protect our brain. And that's because science shows us that staying social sends feel-good hormones surging throughout your bloodstream and the brain, eliminating much of the emotional and physical pain you would normally experience if you weren't as social. It leads to less mental deterioration as you age, including better memory functions and also less chance of developing things like dementia later on in life. It's also an important part of overcoming all addictions, including food addictions, which is the most common form of addiction today. One of the biggest causes of mental health issues is stress, and today more people are feeling stressed out than ever before. Yet, one of the most simple ways to reduce stress is by staying social. It doesn't matter who it is, your friends, your work colleagues, your therapist, or so on. Having someone to talk to helps to lighten the load and has been shown to significantly reduce stress levels and increase your overall well-being. It's also good for your spirit. It's often said that the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of your relationships. And you know what? I couldn't agree with that more. Everything is better in life and more fun when you have people to share it with. Laughter is the pathway to the soul. We all need each other, because if we don't, then we miss out on the greatest things that life has to offer. The sharing and receiving of love, encouragement and support from family and friends. Sure, things like having a nice house, a car, going on nice holidays can all boost your happiness in the short term. However, it's having great relationships and regular engagement that makes you happy over the long term. At the end of the day, all you really have and all that you can leave behind in this journey that we call life is the people that you've met and touched along the way. Staying social is vital to the well-being of your spirit, the core essence of who you are. So the question is, how social are we? Well, despite the enormous benefits of staying social, almost around 50% of people living in westernized nations suffer from loneliness. That's every second person. They often feel alone and have no one to talk to, and even more feel as if no one knows them well. It's really hard to believe this is the case, given that we live in a world in which we are more connected than ever before. So how can we be more social? Well, there are lots of ways which we can be more social. But some of the best ways include to be fully present. What does this mean? Well, how often do you go anywhere these days? Anywhere. Only to be surrounded by people glued to their mobile phone screens. Instead of doing that, make an effort to be fully present with those around you and engage in conversation. Instead of avoiding eye contact in the lift or the train or anywhere else, make it, because you never know who you may meet or what interesting conversations you may strike up. Next, and in some ways this is similar to the last point, you want to moderate your use of technology in general. The potential for technology to increase intimacy in your life is great, I don't doubt that, but so is its capacity to diminish it. Think about it, you can video call and send pictures to your loved ones from across the other side of the world and feel close to them. But at the same time, you can lose yourself endlessly looking at this machine because you may not wish to have a difficult conversation with someone sitting across from you over dinner. So it's important to recognize if the time you're spending on technology is increasing and as a consequence diminishing your level of face-to-face social engagement. Unfortunately, no amount of emojis are a substitute for this. Next, it's really important to have regular catch-ups with family and friends. In many regions of the world, such as in southern Italy, which is where my family's from, as people age, and indeed across their lifespans, they're always surrounded by extended family, by friends, by neighbours, the grocer, and so forth. People are always there or dropping by, and they are never left to live solitary lives. However, here in Australia and other similar countries, we often come home from working long hours and shut ourselves off in our homes. 1 in 3 of us live alone, with family and friends often spread over different cities and sometimes with thousands of kilometres in between. If you are fortunate enough to have family and friends close by, then really make an effort to all catch up more often. We make it a minimum rule to catch up with all of our extended family on the last Sunday of each month. But you can do whatever fits in for you. Also, try to get involved with your local community. Do you know your neighbours? Many of us don't. This is the first place you should start. In your street, in your suburb. Try to get involved with your community. The local sports club, Rotary, emergency services, a walking group, dancing classes, school functions, fundraising, other events, anything else. Being part of your community is a great way to be more social. Also, follow your interests. Whether it's a hobby such as arts, crafts and cooking, gardening or photography, a leisure activity such as driving, fishing, meditation or painting, or a recreational activity such as football, cycling, yoga or weight training, all of these activities provide the perfect opportunity to connect with others whom share the same interests as you. In fact, this is how I personally met many of my closest friends, simply through doing things that I enjoy. If you want to have great relationships in your life, then you need to be intentional about doing so. Otherwise, you just drift on by and time passes, and what happens is you lose contact with those who mean the most to you. Look, we are all busy these days, so if your friends don't instigate a catch-up, then you need to take the initiative and do it yourself. If you don't have many people in your social circle, then be proactive and put yourself out there. Websites like Meetup and lots of others have made it easier than ever before to meet new people in real life with the same interests as you. My next tip is that being social can also include the non-human kind. There is a reason why they say that dogs are a man's best friend. whether it's a dog or any other animal, connecting with them plays a vital role in our overall well-being. And finally, my last tip is to connect with yourself first. The ultimate source of connection is actually with yourself, because once you connect with yourself on a deep level, then you'll actually realize that you are connected with everyone and everything else that exists. That is to say that you become one with all things. By working on yourself enough, you can achieve this. And when you do, you'll never really feel lonely ever again. And this is so comforting. In fact, without this connection, it is possible to feel alone even if you are in a crowded place. So, if you're not being social enough, then ensure to invest the time and energy into relationships, because we are social creatures at heart. Remember also that no one wants to be lonely, even if they say they do. Be it a child, an aging parent, friends, the homeless person down the road. If you know anyone who is lonely, then make an effort to visit them. They will appreciate it more than you know. So, how social are you? Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to learn more about the other essential attributes of staying in your best shape. And until next time, watch what you chew, do what you need to do, and always live true.